everybody, welcome to Creative Conversations with David and Donna. I'm David.
I'm Donna.
And I'm back. I was sick last week, didn't have much of a voice, and, well, kind of only thing I bring to the table here is my voice. So,
and your ideas. Your creative ideas.
my creative ideas for the Creative Conversations.
So it wasn't just the voice thing, it was also the work thing. So
right.
I want to say that we all understand about time and trying to make things happen. And one thing I'm very proud of with what David and I have done is that we, no matter what, have found a way to get a podcast done every week.
Even if we have to cut other things of like, we were going to do these many things today, it gets cut, stuff happens. The one thing that never missed is a podcast once a week.
Yep. And so even though I felt a little bit unusual flying solo, I enjoyed talking to my student.
I think you did a swell job.
Well,
I enjoyed
David.
it. Definitely check that out if you guys haven't already. Interview with a circus performer and co-founder.
Yep.
Very, very good stuff. It's a real treat. It's very different, but it's like a
somebody
circus performer.
Yeah, somebody
but that's
pursuing
cool.
their creative dream. I mean,
Right.
and actually a dream that she didn't even know she had until she started doing it.
That's what I said. The title of the episode is not turning your passion into a job, but turning your job into a passion.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely check that out if you guys haven't already. But today we have some very exciting news. Something that we just did right before starting the show is both me and Donna signed a contract for one of our plays that we wrote. You know what? I'm stumbling around words. Why don't you explain it? Sorry.
That's fine. We wrote 2 plays together, David and I,
Yeah.
and we wrote Camp Dinky Springs over the summer before last.
The summer of 2018.
2018,
yeah.
right. And that was the first play my drama students performed last school year. And we sent it in to the publisher that has published the plays that I wrote many years ago when I was at another high school, and she accepted it. So we signed the contract to have that published. And we're very, very excited that now other people around the country can enjoy the fun characters and
of Camp Dinky Springs.
Camp Dinky Springs, the goofiness, the dancing drill instructor, the hippie counselors, the mom dressed in a ghillie suit. We just really had fun with that play. It
was a lot of fun writing it, and something that I've been very anxious and waiting for ever since we sent it off of like, okay, so when is Donna gonna text me that she heard back? And then she says, can you call me? And like the day before we found out, we were literally like, I wonder when that's gonna happen. And then here we are. Donna's like, can you call me? I answer, and she tells me, she just starts reading the letter that she got.
Like, it was an email.
And I screamed very loudly.
We both did. I was just running around the house, just so excited. I really am. Because we also heard at the same time, well, not at the same time, but she had already confirmed that she was going to publish Pelican, which was the second play we did last year.
Right.
That email was to say that she's sending a contract for both. And so I knew that a contract was coming. I just didn't know when. That was really my answer, is when are you going to send me a contract for Pelican? And so, well, I'm going to send one. I just need Seth's name and address, full name and address, and I need David's full name and address for the Camp Dinky Springs contract.
Right.
And I just jumped up and down. I was so happy.
That was so cool, signing a contract.
Yes.
My signature's still kind of gross. I need to work on that. It's better than when we signed our contract at the bank. That was bad.
Well, I mean, as long as they know it's you. I mean, you can make
get the
X.
idea.
You can put an X and they know it's you, as long as
D.
somebody witnesses you do it. Right?
D. That's a good point.
You know.
So that was really cool. That was it, and we've been talking about that moment for years. Ever since we wrote High School Another Day Another Test. You've been talking about, oh, it's so exciting to sign the contract, David. I can't wait to see you sign the contract. And now here we are, 2019, 2017 was, we knew each other in 2016, but 2017 is when we started working together, and now here we are, 2019, signing contracts.
Yeah.
We made it. We did it. That's exciting. So if you want to perform a play, check out Big Dog Plays and buy our script and give us money. And then perform it. That'd be cool too.
Oh, absolutely.
We'd love to see that.
And let us know you're doing it so we can come see it if possible.
Oh yeah, if it's like any states around us, we are taking a road trip with our greatest pals, and we're gonna go see Camp Dinky Springs be performed somewhere else.
That's always so much fun. I've only done it once actually, but it was a rush to see other people performing my stuff on stage.
That's great. And you didn't have to do any of the work that time. Exactly. It just happened.
And they had done a phenomenal job with the set. It was different than I envisioned it. They had a more budget and a different type of entrance system. It was really nice to see what they had done.
Speaking of putting plays together, that's what you've been working on the past
It is.
couple of weeks. I mean, you started writing the play months ago, but the past couple of weeks you've been having rehearsals after school, really down to business. And I understand, like, as a director, you hit a lot of obstacles, but something that I witnessed, because I've gone to a couple of the rehearsals, is you always manage to overcome them. So just a general overview, how's rehearsal going?
Well, I really like the casting. I have a group that when they all auditioned for me, I told them, I said, I have a real problem right now. I said, I don't know how to cast this play because y'all are all so good. I don't know what to do with it. And so what I did is I just asked them to please tell me what part they wanted to play, what they really wanted to do. And I was able to actually cast each of the kids in this class, which is a Theater 2 class, as 2 different roles. And I've learned through experience that you just never know what might come up at the last minute. And we have 2 huge roles. The play is called Vlad and Alex, You Can Count on Me. And Vlad and Alex are obviously the main roles. And if I had one person who knew everything for Vlad and one person who knew everything for Alex, and anything happened to either one of them, then we wouldn't have a play. So there are 2 people who know every role. So that worked out nicely. And the only issue we're having there is making sure that both Alexes, both Vlads, and both every other character will get time on stage and rehearsal for all the different parts they're playing. So that has been an issue. But watching everything kind of come together, it's been a lot of fun to do these costumes because, of course, there was the Halloween time right in the middle of the rehearsal process for a play that's about classic movie monsters. We've got the Dracula character, we have a ghost, a witch, a mummy, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein, and a Wolfman. And so just finding all the costumes for that. And some of them, you can obviously buy stuff online or go to the costume stores, but it's fun also. Like I found the Boris jacket, which is my Frankenstein Boris, after Boris Karloff, for anybody who knows that. But we found that at Goodwill and kind of made it look Frankensteinish, and it's just really been
Goodwill is a wonderful place if you're a stage director.
I mean, I have a security guard in the play, and I found a shirt that says security. It has the whole, like, all the patches all over.
Anything you can need.
Perfect. I mean, it's exactly what I needed.
And if not, you can just go to Goodwill, buy a bunch of different stuff for cheap, and cut it all up and make it what you need.
We do.
Wonderful place Goodwill is.
Yes, it is.
So you haven't been able to get into an actual stage yet, right? You've been stuck in your classroom, which that's a little bit of a setback.
Well, I can tell you a little more about that. So we actually, when we used to rehearse, when you were with me, we would do 2 weeks of rehearsal scheduled in the gym because we had 2 complete casts from 2 different classes.
Right.
So it would be Monday was 3rd hour, Tuesday was 4th hour, and back and forth so that everybody could have time on the gym stage. But at that point, the first time we ever did a play, we would have to get in after basketball practice, move in all of the lights, all of the sound system, set it up. We have platforms that we pull down off the stage that we had to set up, and then we would rehearse, and then we would move every bit of it back because that's just how we had to do.
Yeah, because
it was
next day gym classes.
It's in a gym. So this actually last year we got a new basketball coach come in. He was a coach that had been at our school, left and came back, but he seemed to understand that the athletics did not rule the gym, that this was a facility that anybody needed at different times. So he gave us an entire week so we could go set everything up and leave it set up, which has just been such a godsend. So instead of having 2 weeks of rehearsal in the gym where we have to move in, move out, move in, move out, move in, move out, I've just had rehearsal after school from 3, the first week was 3 to 5 just for 2 days. And that was just in my classroom because basketball rehearsal was supposed to end at 4:45. So it was just like, what's the point? And last week we had 3 days of rehearsal that ended at 6. But by the time we set up and started rehearsing in my classroom, we didn't move to the gym. So this will be the first week of rehearsal. And it is the same group of kids. They just are 2 different casts. And hopefully we will be in the gym from 3 to 7 every day this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, until we start our Friday performance, and actually getting from the beginning to the end the full, play on stage and running everything. So there's a lot to still work out. haven't ever like had everybody in the costume running the parts, because that changes how you move and behave. Your costume has a whole lot to do with your acting. We have been using the props pretty much every time, so that's good to know what's going to be in your hand. And there was a scene where Alex, who is the troubled teenage boy who meets Vlad, who was actually Count Dracula, he's supposed to be holding flowers, and the way that it was written was that Alex is holding the flowers. There's a part where he hands it to Vlad so he can do something, and then watching it in rehearsal, it's like, nah, it just doesn't look right. So they're in a graveyard, and we decided, let's just take the flowers and set them down on one of the graves until you get up to leave, because you do need them, because there's a reference to them. But stuff like that is good to work out in rehearsal, and unfortunately, because of just the nature of what we do, a lot of stuff just kind of gets done however it gets done in front of an audience, because we haven't had the opportunity to work it out. So there are a lot of things like that.
Well, something I noticed while watching the rehearsals is you would stop and you're like, wait, I have that prop over here. Let me go get it so you can use it in this, even if it doesn't seem very important. But what I've realized, and obviously you realize it, and I hope people are starting to realize, is that the closer that it is to what it's supposed to be on stage, the better rehearsal is, because you notice small things like that you don't think are going to be a big deal. Like, what's the point? Why even get the flowers? Or why even do why I got to put all of my makeup on for the rehearsal? It's just rehearsal. But no, it's you run into problems that you don't want to deal with the night of the play. And as close as it can possibly be to what it's supposed to be, the better it is. The more problems you'll find, the better things that you can fix.
I agree with
and
that.
That's something you do like a lot, is just fix. I mean, I've watching a rehearsal, I see a scene happen one way and it's like, and then you just say a couple sentences and they run it again, and it's like, whoa, it's like it's a skill. It's a real talent. That's what being a director is just directing. I couldn't think of the other word for it. You're like, I visualize it as you like moving magical wands, or waving around magical wands and twisting and contorting what's happening on the stage until it's like, boom, perfect.
I love that. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
I kind of think of it, like I've said before, like trying to polish the diamond. So you get the rough stone, it's up there, and you have to pick and choose, because I don't think you'll ever have the perfect diamond at the end, but you got to figure out, okay, this is the part that is the roughest. We need to start sanding this off right here. And eventually, you kind of have to have all cylinders firing. You have to have a group of people willing to work together, and willing to be prepared for rehearsal. And if you can get that, then you can run a scene that could be okay in front of an audience, but that's when you can really like shine the crap out of it and make it to where people go, wow. And I say that in front of every drama class I've ever taught. We are a high school theater department. Cringe-worthy is all over that, especially from kids who don't know what we do. They just think, oh, that's just, some high school kids up there trying to be a star or whatever.
Nerds.
Yeah, a bunch of nerds, drama nerds.
Yeah.
But almost every time, there have been a few, very few, but almost every time people will come see the play and go, wow, that was amazing. And that's what I want. I want people to understand that it's not just a bunch of people being silly and let me just see how I can show off in front of a group of people. Let me actually act. Let me put something together that's a good story, that's fun to watch, that you care about the characters, and you cheer at the end, but just because it's so good. And I love that reaction. I just can still see some of the faces. I specifically remember Dre that we interviewed, DCITM, his mom, her face was just glowing, and she's like, I just think, now that y'all have this, you should take it on the road and let other schools see it. And she was just,
on the road?
Let other schools, she
That's great.
just thought it was so exciting that we had put together not just a play, but a really good play. And her son, Dre, had been like one of the narrators with 200 plus lines, and just kicked it out. I mean, knocked it out of the park. It was so, so good. And that's what I really, really like.
That's what you go through all of it for.
Right.
All of the problems that you face, all the obstacles, you're hopping over them to get to that finish line. To
give the success that I know the kids can have. Because even though we don't necessarily have the biggest audience, and we don't have an audience of their peers as much as we would like, the peers who do show up are just like, wow. And it's nice to see some of those people take my class the next year because they're like, I want to be on stage. I want to do that.
Yeah.
It's fun to see that growth.
Well, I think it's really special what it is you're able to provide to those students because, I think high school and most things provide plenty of opportunity for, I'm not trying to sound like the biggest nerd in the whole freaking world, but like, there's all sorts of athletic competitions. There's endless amount. There are things that I don't even know that we have. Like in senior year, I'm like, we have that as a team. Like we have a golf team.
Right.
Like what?
Yes.
Bowling and there's a fishing team. I think right.
There is.
There's all these different opportunities for those kind of people, and that's great, and they get to have that. But what about me? Like I didn't do any of that until senior year when we had theater. So what am I supposed to do that's supposed to give me that confidence boost? I don't like sports and I don't like things like that, and I had always considered myself somebody who was a writer and who enjoyed writing. So, but where am I supposed to do that in high school? What team do I join?
Yeah.
And now that's there. That team is there for you to join. Even like there are academic teams still. There are like, but like maybe I'm not like a super smart person. Maybe I'm just a guy. But everybody has something to offer. And
I totally
theater provides this
outlet.
this new outlet, this new route for someone to take. It's like you're standing in life, and then all of a sudden a new road opens up. And it's like, well, let's try that one, and everybody can find something to enjoy about it, and it's just another thing. And now students get to have that success. Yeah. I know exactly what you're talking about. To give them that, even if their peers aren't seeing it, they get to go to school the next day and be like, I did something. I stood out. I was special for a second. And, I think a big thing that kids get made fun of, like the older generation often uses as a joke, is like, oh, everyone has to be special. Everybody needs a participation award. No, I don't want everyone to get a participation award, but I do think everybody deserves some acknowledgement for the things that they do and an opportunity to do the things that they love to do, and for them to go to school the next day and stand a little taller, and smile a little bit more, because they're not just some kid that's going there. They did something. Right. They did a thing that they get to say they did. They get to tell a story. They get to have been special for a second and learned a lot of lessons from it and boosted their self-confidence for the rest of their lives. It's a joke, and I've been told this joke plenty of times of oh, wow, you're still living in high school, huh? You peaked in high school. No, I didn't peak in high school just because I liked what I did and I still think about it. It doesn't mean I peaked in high school. It's the opposite. It's because I did that in high school, I can do further things. I can do bigger things. That's what I'm doing now because I did that in high school. And nothing's wrong with it enjoying high school in some
with
places.
Having a successful experience in anything. Some athletes maybe do peak in high school because that's when they're most physically fit for their sport, but still, to have the experience of any of that, any success in anything you're interested in high school, it helps you feel confident in your abilities in general, just as a person. Like, I can move forward and do something that's worthwhile. So, it's a shame when people want to downplay any success somebody has, because
when someone downplays your success, it's probably because they're jealous.
Yeah, usually, I would say.
Usually. I've been there. That was a thing. It's like, oh man, football, a bunch of jughead losers. But in reality, it's like, man, I wish I did something that like people said good job for, I wish teachers acknowledged that happened. I wish I stood out in some way, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Hey, Miss Smith, I wrote a little story. Okay, that's cool, Billy. Shut up, please. And kids all deserve a chance to get that. And I don't think they should be so ridiculed for that, because everybody desires it, especially the people who ridicule others for that.
I have to agree.
I agree. They desire that. And if they were just given that, then they probably wouldn't make such a joke out of kids. I don't understand what's so funny about like children who are developing and trying to become human beings being happy that they did something cool. It's cool.
Well, that their gifts were noticed and nurtured. Right. I feel like everybody has some kind of gift. I don't know. It's different for everybody, and we don't have the opportunity, obviously, to hit them every single one in high school, but it was nice when we were given the opportunity to finally do theater as a class, because I had done it as a club, so people who were interested could at least come and express themselves, but only if they could stay after school. And so now we have a class, and so, you know, you have to be at school anyway, and you can come in and explore what it means to be on stage. And in our particular program, I mean, we'll just kind of see where it goes next year, but maybe to even be part of the writing of the script, because we have written 2 for this year, and we had a newspaper reporter come to our rehearsal Friday to take pictures for this play. And I said, did you get the email I sent you? Because we're going to have both plays from last year published. She's like, oh, I did. I'm going to come back do another story. I said, well, I really feel like the 2 from this year are also going to be published. And so if that's kind of the trend we're setting, I did not have anything to do with the 2 plays for this year being started. That was absolutely, the seniors left, and my students who were coming back to me were like, okay, well, what are we writing for next year? And I was like, oh, we're going to do that, okay. Wow. So they took that ball and ran with it. And I mean, admittedly, I think I probably wrote most of this script, but it was because the students spent so much time making me a very clear outline. It was very easy to just fill in the dialogue. And the one we're writing for second semester is an updated Romeo and Juliet, which is all but finished. It just needs finishing touches, and a few scenes are not like completely hashed out. But then we'll have 2, and we'll send those in and see what my publisher says for this one. You know, it's really really exciting.
It's exciting, and it makes everything. Does it make everything worth it to go through in a way?
Well, worth it is an interesting thing, because I mean, as a teacher, period. There are many things about a teaching job that you have to understand are not the reason you do your job. You know, like one of the things I was going to say earlier in relation to just nurturing people's gifts at school is it's very difficult for us to do that in our school system now, because it's all about data. Take this test, make this score, and if you can't get your kids to make this score, you're not a good teacher. That's just kind of the bottom line of how school is. So when I think about what's worth it, for me personally, it's always been that I can be a positive influence in somebody's life. And I do that in many ways. I just try to be positive at school. I try to, when people come in my room, I want it to be a place of ease. I want to be the kind of person that doesn't add stress to your day. In fact, the opposite. And I had probably one of the biggest compliments I've ever had this year. One of my students from my 8th hour class came in my 7th hour class, and he was just really upset about something that happened, and he said, can I hang in here? And I'm like, if it's okay with your teacher, sure. So he stayed with me, and at the end of the hour, he's like, yep, that's what I needed some good vibes. And so he came to my class because he knew that he could come to me. He was just in a completely, didn't know anybody in the class. He just wanted to be in my classroom so that he could feel better. And that means something to me. That is important to me. And so being able to provide a creative outlet for people who love theater, and you know, there are 2 theater classes at our school, but mine focuses on what happens on stage. And so for me, being able to offer the opportunity to let's create the actual script, that's cool. I don't know too many other high school programs that do that, and I think that's really nice to be able to offer that opportunity.
Right, you get to do that, and you've touched so many students' lives. I mean, how many theater students do you have this year?
This year I have 3 classes that are about 30, so easily 90 something.
That's almost half of the students that you teach. So half of your day is spent...
Well, half of every other day.
Half of every other day, right, block schedule.
Right.
But, half of the students that you're teaching that class, and it sticks with them forever. I mean, it's something... I mean, I've said it a million times on this show. I'm sure of, like, you can't get that kind of thing anywhere else at any other high school, like you said. I mean, you don't know of many other high schools that allow you to do that. And so this is where you get to do that. And so how are the kids liking the play this year?
Well, when we read it, there was very positive feedback. So just to give backstory there, these all except for one student I teach this year were in the plays last year. And so when they read Dinky Springs, they didn't dislike it, but the issue with getting that one ready is that I had not started the rehearsals or the auditions as early as I should have. I just got caught up in the calendar, and I just missed the boat. So they liked the play okay. I mean, when we read any play, I mean, when y'all saw Brothers Grimm for the first time, you were like, oh my God, this is so hokey. And the people were like, I'm not even going to be in that play. But then we worked on it and made it our own, which is what you do with every story. So Dinky Springs got a lukewarm reception.
Yeah, there were some bad vibes.
There were definitely bad vibes. That was one of the hardest rehearsal processes I've personally been through for many
And from what I've heard from students, there was just so much personal drama going on within the class that it just affected everything.
It was a lot of factors. It was the fact that we had kids from the year before who were in the same class with kids who had never had a theater class, and that caused more problems than I realized. I knew it would be an issue, but it was a bigger issue than I realized. This year I've heard a whole lot more about it. But anyway, the rehearsal process was rocky, but I had faith in the story. I mean, David and I wrote it, and I knew it was a good play because it was so similar to the other plays I had published that have been performed all over the country. And I mean, I just knew it had really good potential. And we did get to that point. It was a hard, rocky road. But anyway, then we read Pelican, and they really liked Pelican. I mean, from the beginning, it was like, oh my God, this is going to be so much fun to do on stage. And they liked the pacing and the characters, and it was just so much fun. And I mean, every rehearsal process goes through rocky minutes, but they just really enjoyed that. So then when we read Vlad and Alex, You Can Count on Me This Year in Class, just overwhelming positive. Like, this is so good. And it was so funny because when I started working on it, because I have to make a big list to send over to the other teacher of the things that we require from tech, I started looking at the script a different way, and I'm like, this is like a little Nickelodeon or Disney Halloween movie. It really is. It's just like, I've got to find a way to maybe make the script a movie script so I can send it in. I just can so see it on Disney. It's very similar to Hocus Pocus in some ways, and some of the other, The Mummy and other, like, just Nick.
It reminds me of the Little Vampire.
Yeah, it just has elements of all those types of movies, and just the way it comes together at the end with the big high school dance, and then the big twist with the director and choosing them for the winner of the contest, and it's
a really clever, witty, like, fun play.
It just absolutely came together so well, and so the students were very excited about the story, and it was fun for me to see students who last year were just kind of getting started and thinking, I really want to try something bigger this year. I want a big role. That's what I really want. And then to give them that opportunity and watch how they rise to the challenge, it's just it's rewarding in so many ways. So I think that they really see the potential of the script, and they want to bring it to life in the best way they can. It's going to be really cute.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's really nice to hear. I mean, I witnessed that at rehearsal, but that's really nice to hear, especially after everything that happened with Dinky Springs. Yeah. It's a really big relief to know that that's what's happening. And what are some of the challenges that I feel like I'm interviewing you now, but
you go right ahead.
What are some of the challenges that you've hit so far in these past couple of weeks of rehearsal?
Well, for anybody who directs a high school play, I don't really feel like, even though these kids, this particular group of kids, did 2 plays last year, I just don't think that they have the mindset of, I really need to be on the ball a month in advance. Because here we are a week away from our first performance, and not all the kids know their lines. That's difficult. It's hard to work with that. I mean, I do it every time, and I think I get as equally upset every time. But, the way I view directing is, my job is to improve your performance. And I tell every actor before they even take a role, I can't direct you if you don't know your lines. And so we can go through the staging. Okay, you're gonna have to stand here and move here and make sure you don't say this until this happens, and make sure that when you howl, you do we can go through all of that. But the true, like, bringing the character out and finding the nuances and hitting that next level, like a level above anything we've ever had the opportunity to do, because this is a group that's done two plays with me already. That's what I expected. I just really expected come in, all cylinders firing and just like get it going. And it's been a really difficult thing for me to just have to sit and stall while people are bumbling around on stage with not knowing their lines. Mm-hmm. So
that's painful.
It is. So hopefully next week, or this coming week, starting tomorrow, we will see more people prepared. But the thing is, I do still try to direct. I look at it and I watch what they do. And beyond the not knowing my lines part, I try to make them see something in the character that maybe they didn't see before. So Vlad and Alex, because it's a troubled teen and an ancient vampire, it's like, here are these two, and I'll call the vampire a person, here are these two people who...
Vampires are people too, Donna!
Vampires are people too. Well, a monster and a person. But they realize the first time they meet each other, that they have something to offer the other one that could help them, but they don't really know if they can trust the other one. And so through the entire play, every encounter they have, it's a step forward, a step back, a step forward, a step back. And I've directed that a lot with both of my Vlads and both of my Alexes, because I want that to really come across. So even if I have an actor up there who's getting prompted every line, I do still try to say, this is the emotion that you're trying to show. This is what you want the audience to see. And it has come out even in a dry read. It's coming. It's just that to make it really play on stage, we really need a lot more rehearsal, and hopefully a lot more prepared rehearsal. And here's another fun obstacle. I didn't even talk to you about this. I meant to earlier. But we live in Louisiana, and the weather here is completely unpredictable. However, they have predicted that Tuesday, today's Sunday, November 10th. So they've predicted that Tuesday our weather's going to really drop into the 20s, and that there is a chance of rain. You haven't heard this?
No.
Okay. So what that means in our state is that if there is any kind of icy precipitation Tuesday into Wednesday morning, and there's any ice on the road whatsoever, they will cancel school, which of course most people will, run around and scream about and be excited. But what that would mean for me is we'll miss a day of rehearsal in class, because it is a day that I would see my theater kids. And we would also miss a rehearsal, which is 4 hours on stage that we won't get. So I don't know what's going to happen. I just know
because
that
you can't ask students to come up to school.
No, you can't do it, period.
Yeah.
If you don't have school, you can't have after school. So that's another obstacle. So it is as it is.
Well, you know what? It is what it... I mean, we had... Last year, we had to push our play back.
It was when you were doing Brothers Grimm.
So we were doing Brothers Grimm. Our first play.
2 years ago.
2 years ago. Right, 2 years ago.
We had a week off of school.
We had a full week off of school.
Yeah.
We had snowed.
Yeah,
right?
so we pushed the play back a whole week.
Play back a whole week. And it's not like we got a extra week of rehearsal. We just didn't get to rehearse for a whole week. Didn't do anything. It's like... So you come back, and it's like been a whole week of you not doing that. You lose that momentum, and we had to pick it back up again. But we did. It is what it is, and you go with the obstacles. And
well, that's why I don't have my play after the Thanksgiving break. I mean, certainly we could rehearse this week and next week and go to Thanksgiving break and then come back and have the play. So that would give us more rehearsal time. But that time off, it's just like you never had a play in your mind. I mean, the lines, if you had them before Thanksgiving, they're not there anymore.
You need room for everything else.
Yeah, so, and plus, when you come back after Thanksgiving, the way our school system works is we have 2 weeks of school, and then we have our finals before Christmas, and then that's the time every single club in existence has some kind of Christmas program. Right. Every extracurricular stuff that doesn't involve school, every church, everything is doing something for Christmas as soon as Thanksgiving is over, so trying to fit a play in there as well is just not something I want to try to do.
Right, this is the best time for it, but...
It is.
Then freaking... Oh, wow, could it snow Tuesday then?
It depends on the type of precipitation and how cold it actually gets.
That'd be so cool. We don't get snow a lot here in South Louisiana, but actually the past few years I have seen a lot more snow in my life than I ever expected to. So weather's weird. Yeah. Oh my God, I would love to see my dog run around in snow.
Talk about your dog.
That'd be the happiest thing in the world.
How old is Socks? How old is Socks now?
I think he's about 5 months.
So he's not even full grown yet.
No, he's still a little brat puppy, but he's a good boy. The best boy, I might even say.
The best boy.
The best boy.
Aww.
He's a... we know that he's American Bulldog, and we don't know what his other half is. We adopted him. So all we know is his mom was American Bulldog. Many different people have said he looks like a pit bull or a cur is what one of them says. Okay. We have no idea for sure, though. But I go with pit bull because I'm like, yeah, pit bull. He weighs about 60 pounds now. He's huge. He was like a little... used to fit in my hand, and now he's huge. And I don't realize how huge he is until I go to sit on the couch and I realize, oh, he's taking up the whole couch by himself.
And he's only 5 months old.
Yeah.
He's got a lot
more. Or like I gotta pick him up for something. I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah. It's all pure muscle too. It's a strong dude. It's really scary, like playing tug of war with him because he'll just like snap his neck and like I'm like, whoa, man, are you okay? But it's just so aggressive and he's a bit of a brat. He doesn't like to eat. So we have like dry dog food, right? But he got really, really sick one time, and we had to feed him wet dog food.
Spoiled him.
Yeah, which to him tastes a whole lot better.
Oh, of course.
And so now it's like you put that food bowl down without the wet food, he'll look up at you like, "Excuse me,
Where's my treat?"
Yeah, and then my mom started making him eggs sometimes in the morning and putting it in with his food. 2 eggs, 2 scrambled eggs,
I heard that.
which I'm sure is delicious.
You do that too. You made some.
Yes, I did make a wholesome video. Casey told you about my wholesome video. Yeah. Casey's a student of hers, friend of mine.
Another co-writer on a play.
Another co-writer on a play coming up. Yeah. Yes, I did, but that's because he was sick and I felt bad. But my mom started it. I would have done it without him. So now it's like sometimes if there aren't eggs in there, he's gonna be like,
"Excuse you?
Where are my? Excuse me, where are my eggs?" But I enjoy cooking for my boy. That's okay, and I love him, and he's the most adorable thing in the world. He weighs 60 pounds, but he's not very tall, so it's kind of funny. So there's a little fat on him, but it's mostly like just muscle. Like you see him move and his arms like just. I'm like, oh my gosh, dude! Because we feed him good, and we let him exercise. He goes outside a lot. We make sure that he gets plenty of exercise. So full of life. I love him. My best pal. Really annoying, and sometimes whenever I'm home alone, like watching him, I just have to like leave, like get in my car and drive away. Don't go anywhere. I'm just. I just need to take a break.
What does he do that annoys you so much?
Well, we have another dog, Miss Lou, and she doesn't like company. She's older, and she's kind of been by herself her whole life, and we get this new dog, and so Socks just wants to play with her, but she's like, no, so sometimes we'll start barking at her, or he'll just get really rambunctious and like wanted to play with me, and I'm like, yeah, I want to play with you, boy, but oh my god, I'm tired, and like, please. And I'm the one he plays with, because like, I'm the one who does play with him the most. And so when he sees me, that's what he expects. And I love it. I play with him. But after like an hour, I'm like,
done.
Can I sit down for 1 second, please? He's like, I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, I'm sorry.
Go take a drive.
He's going to get that. And he like starts running around the house, like spinning. I'm like,
wow.
You just need to get that. Sometimes I just make him go outside just to get that. I just go outside with him on his leash and I'm like, okay, I cannot chase you around, so here, take this like really long leash. That way you can run way faster than me, and I won't like trip and fall and die. And I just gotta let him get all that energy out, try to, and then we can come back and sit down and watch TV. Also, he's annoying because I can't go into the kitchen without him following me because he knows something's coming. We don't feed him from the table, but we sit at the table. He's gonna sit right there, and then he starts barking. And I gotta yell. I'm like, don't raise your voice at me, and but then I feel so bad because he looks so cute. So I'm like, oh, okay, boy. Okay.
Then you give him food?
Yeah, here's some of my banana pudding, boy. He just eats up some banana pudding.
You shouldn't feed him from the table.
I don't know. I go like somewhere. I go to his food bowl and I'm like, here's some banana pudding.
Banana pudding.
Yeah.
So dogs eat banana pudding.
My dog does.
Wow.
My dog eats everything. There's this viral video of a dog being fed a pickle and he spits it out. So like that'd be so funny. So we do that with Sock and we throw him the pickle and he eats it and he liked it. He's like,
you want some more?
Like, of course, this dog is the one dog on the planet who would like pickles. He likes everything. Only thing he doesn't like is mushrooms. We try to give him some mushrooms just to like, not like drugs, but like, like the food. And he's like, nope, he wasn't having it. I mean, he ate it, but he was like kind of like grossed out by it.
Yeah, they didn't like the texture in his mouth.
Yeah, so that sucks. Everybody, I'll post some pictures on my on the stay_creativeDD Instagram
That'll
of
be
socks.
Cool. And I do want to say, I looked ahead on my weather app, and at this moment, we are going to get down in the 27, 26 range, but at that point, there's not any precipitation predicted. So it could be that it's just going to be really cold, and if there's no ice on the road, we might not have to miss rehearsal. So that's a good thing to know. I'm happy about that.
I hope so. It'd be really freaking cold in that gym, though.
We have heaters.
Oh, that's right.
We've always had heaters. It wasn't until last year we got air, so that's cool.
It still got cold in that gym because it wasn't insulated at all.
Now it is.
Now it is. So yeah, I forget that there's been some upgrades since I left.
Nice upgrade. Like from 50s plus years ago, my mother went to Denham Springs High School, and that gym was there when she went to that school. So long time ago.
Oh, the jacket gym.
Yeah.
It's a real relic. It took like a flood happening to get new floors in there.
No, but the floors were fine though. They varnish those every year. I mean, it's an athletic facility. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. So
anyway.
Along with all the rehearsal you've been dealing with dealing with sounds so harsh. Along with all the rehearsal you've been going through, you've also like had all this other stuff happening in your life. So how do you find time to balance that out?
That's a phenomenal question, especially in light of what we decided to do. So as a teacher, this is my 31st year, and it's not that it's been easy to find time to do everything that's involved in working on a play. But because I've decided that I know retirement's coming and I want to start this new business, or I should say I did start this new business, I have been really trying to find time to do what's required for school and my family life and this job that I have put on myself, that I have chosen to do. And it's been very difficult because it's so easy to kind of say, I can't do that. It's just too much. And too many people do that. And I'm not going to be one of those people. But I have been for the last 2 weeks, because when you just have a mounting production that requires so many different types of jobs. Like I'm always shopping for a costume, or creating something at home that can be a prop, or altering one of the costumes, or like going through the script and making sure that this date's straight. And there are just so many details required in putting together a production. And I want to spend at least some of the day using some of the time I have to sit in front of my computer and get my online business going. And I have made great strides, and I'm very proud of the fact that I have. My son was here. He's at LSU right now, and his girlfriend was talking about her economics class. And when I started talking about what I'm learning about funnels and driving people, and she's like, that's exactly what I'm learning in school. I said, well, it's like I'm going to school, and I am. And, you know, at 54 years old, it's not that I feel like I can't do it, learn new things. I always want to learn new things. It's just finding the time. So, as I said at the beginning of the podcast, I'm very, very proud that David and I have not let our podcast drop at all. We've worked around scheduling when we had to. We've worked around him not being here because we had to. We could work around me not being here if he wanted to do an interview without me, or if I couldn't come for some reason. But we get it done. And so my attitude about the online business I have, and it's I'm saying me because I'm doing some aspect of it that David's not, but it's just to get my affiliate marketing in place so I can start making the money, and then he and I can jump our business and start doing all the things that we have in mind. So we just really want to encourage everybody to stay creative, and so that's what I'm doing, which is keeping me from doing my business. So I'm staying creative. I'm doing that part. And after this week of all the outflow of creativity that comes from doing a production, then I can go back to the other thing. And I know that I can do this. I just know it's time, and I knew I needed to work with somebody, and David was the perfect choice for me. And we really complement each other very well. We do. And so you're working on kind of the stuff where you're doing more of the online presence, which we need. And so once we start having some money build up from our affiliate marketing, then we can start doing more things to push our business itself out there and help more people stay creative and make our courses that we want to make, and all the things that we said we were going to do this summer before school slammed us in the face and this time taken up by so many things. It's going to happen. But, we did start today. What you want to do tomorrow, start today. And just on the journey, you kind of sometimes have to take that step back and allow yourself to not beat yourself up, because you do have a life to live. It's not that I want to give up anything. I just have to kind of put a few things on pause periodically.
Things aren't going as planned, but it's still going.
Yeah, I don't know if I had a big big outlook, like a plan for what am I going to be doing in 3 months. Because David and I knew when school started, like when it's the week of the play, when it's the week of this, like the week of the haunted house. We did not record on Sunday, the week of the haunted house, but we did record on Monday. Yeah. And we found a way. We did get it done. So, yeah, the balance is this year particularly challenging just because of so much that I want to have time for to be honest, I have had some time, but when you have so much in your head, you just can't always focus like you need to.
You deserve some episodes of Star Trek on the couch.
Oh, most. I did that today. I watched one today.
Of course, good.
Yes, I did.
Are you excited Picard's coming soon?
Oh, my God. So that's another thing. We've been going back and watching the Star Trek movies that the Next Generation cast was in. So we've got 2 of them under our belt. And, of course, I've seen all of them, but I don't remember them. Like, I'm watching them going, I saw this, and so that's been so cool. And Picard is beginning of the year, isn't it? That's what I think I remember. So I'm just excited out of my head for that. I just can't wait.
Are you going to get Disney Plus?
I heard y'all talking about that last week. I'm unfamiliar with that. I really had not heard of it until y'all brought it up.
Oh, okay.
So it's a streaming service you pay for like Netflix?
Yes, it's a streaming service like Netflix, but it's everything that's under Disney's belt, which is a lot. And
It is.
I think it's launching like in a few days now. By the time this podcast goes up, I think it's like November 16th.
Okay.
I'm definitely getting it because I want to watch Iron Man again and all the Marvel movies. And
I was wondering about Star Trek. That's always been on Netflix.
Yeah,
so will they keep that?
Yeah, on Netflix because I don't think Disney has anything to do with Star Trek.
Right.
So that'll stay there. But like anything Marvel that's on Netflix is like they canceled all the Marvel shows on Netflix, and Star Trek should be fine. That's not. But I think CBS is working on making their own. And I'm pretty sure CBS is what has Star Trek right now. I'm not sure. Don't quote me. But
that's so interesting. So we watched video stores because I'm a big Blockbuster girl. I mean, I remember every weekend we would go stand in the store, walk up and down the aisles trying to figure out which movie.
Well, what else
rent.
are you going to do on the weekends?
Right. So then that changed to the on-demand TV. And now, Netflix kind of cornered that market, but now they're getting kind of pushed out of the market, or at least joined with lots of. It's like, where do we go from here? I mean.
Yeah, I mean, at what point we touched on it? Is there too much entertainment? And because now it's like I gotta get Disney. I mean, at a certain point, it's like I can't afford Hulu anymore, man. I gotta pay for Disney because I'd rather pay for Disney Plus because Disney Plus isn't just gonna be princess movies. I mean, it's. Everything Disney, which is a lot.
It is
it's Marvel, and then just Disney itself has some great stuff. Star Wars, everything Star Wars, everything Fox now that they bought. Lots of stuff. There's a show dropping called The Mandalorian. That's gonna be dropping like the first day of Disney Plus, I think, and that's very exciting. But I'm just wondering if you're gonna get Disney Plus. I mean, a lot of people are like, I'm canceling Netflix. What's even the point now? Why would I'm not going to watch anything Netflix. I'm going to watch everything I can on Disney Plus.
Well, for me, you asked me the question. I, at this point, I'm trying to not add anything new to the budget until the affiliate marketing. I was describing it to David as like the car is put together. I just need to put some gas in it. I'm very close to being ready to kick off my actual business plan online. It's just not quite there yet. And, budget-wise, as a teacher and my husband works for the state and son in college, right now watching the money like so many people can definitely relate to, which is why I want to encourage everybody who wants to venture into this online marketing. It is worth your while. It's time and effort, but once you get it set up and get it going, it's where everything is going. I mean, when you look at what happened with Amazon, who started off just selling some books online because this dude knew something was going to be happening online, and now it is the biggest marketing ever in the whole world. I mean, Amazon, basically, you could just survive and live, you get it all on Amazon, So everything's online marketing, and it will change, but I feel like if you know what you're doing and you can kind of get into the mindset of this is how this works, as it changes, you change and keep up with it. I really think anybody can do it. And so once I start getting my stuff set up, I will always have my links available to anybody who's interested so that I can help you if you need help. Because I want to do it and I want to help people do it. That's my goal with that, in addition to staying creative. Because I feel like once you are able to get that straight and you realize that there's a way to make money that is not so stressful as other jobs that we have, that we just beat our brains against the wall and drive through traffic and all this other stuff. Once you feel freedom from having the money that you need to survive, then you can hey, I can go paint that painting or write that play or write that novel or whatever. Speaking of which, a little segue there.
Oh, nice.
So David has a novel he's talked to me about a decent amount, and he's done some work lately. So tell me more about your development of your Summerborn story.
Well, something development of what I've done recently, or from the beginning.
You can tell whatever you want to say. Maybe just I don't remember if we ever talked about where the idea came from. How did you get this idea?
The idea came from I sort of just created this character in my mind of Jamie Summerborn, and then the story came from really it's a lot about about me. it's about me.
Stories that people write are about themselves.
Taking my life right now and my experiences and putting them in this fantasy setting, and then also throwing in some cool characters that I create. Everything comes from character for me. I'm like, I think of characters. I mean, I have a list of characters and I'm like, that character's awesome. And here's how he's going to fit into this story because I want him to meet this guy. It's all about character.
Now, you develop a lot of your characters through Dungeons and Dragons.
I do.
As well, so.
Yes. I do. Because like, what that's become really is like, I think of characters that'd be super cool to write about. And then I go into Dungeons and Dragons. I'm like, I want to play that character, which is kind of what Jamie became, honestly, was like, I want to write about this, like, I wanted to write this story about me, and I wanted to make this character that was me, who was sort of the Superman version of me, you know what I mean? And he's not Superman by any means, he's very flawed, but
what are his Superman type characteristics?
He, I'd say he's me, but elevated to 100, you know, like, so, like, he's everything I kind of wish I could be, but then plus the fall. So he's like an expert sword fighter. Like that's his thing. He's very strong, and he's it's a lot of things I'm not. Like I'm not a very athletic person, but he is, and maybe I'm more creative and intelligent than he is, but he's very strong. So he's like this like opposite but the same of me in a lot of ways, and but at the same time we share a lot of the same flaws, and I just really want to tell this story about a guy, Jamie Summerborn, who lives in this world where he's not really feeling like he's in the right place, and like what he's supposed to do isn't what he wants to do. There's this path that he's set to follow.
What is his path?
His path is to be like his path is he's gonna be just the guy that's there, and he's going to be a guard or something, or a knight maybe. Maybe he'll be in the military, you know, whatever it is that his father decides he's going to do.
Oh, so he's supposed to do what his dad tells him to do.
Well, I'm trying not to like. Okay.
Oh, well, okay. Well, I understand what you're saying. You don't
I'm also not trying to say that my dad is like a dictator who makes me be in the military.
I thought you meant you don't want to give away your story.
I don't want to give. Well, okay. So he's the bastard son of a king, and he lives up until when he's 10. Even though he's the bastard, he's still gonna become king. He's still the next in line because there is no other child. But then his father remarries and has another child when he's about 10, and so now that child that's the true heir. So now Jamie spent like his first 10 years of his life thinking he's going to be the king. Like I spent the first 10 years of my life thinking I'm going to be I don't know, probably like a football player or something like that, you know? And now he's like, well, I'm not going to be a king. Oh crap. I've been told I do this, and now I'm just saying I can't be, but I think I could have been, and he would have been a great king. And now it's like, nope, sorry, you're not going to be, because there's this other guy. And so I mean, you're just a bastard son. Like, whatever, man. Go, whatever. And so he, like, instead of focusing on his book smarts and everything like that, he started studying with, this is why it's the inverse to me, because maybe spending the first 10 years worrying about book smarts and creativity, now he's worried about becoming a sword fighter and all this stuff in that realm, while my first 10 years might have been playing football and t-ball and sports and t-ball. I say t-ball because I played when I was like 6, but so it wasn't baseball yet, but sports. And then getting to a point where I finally realized, oh wait, that's not going to work. I need to be a writer, and sort of the inverse for him, Jamie, and being told that he's just a bastard son and whatever. And well, this is what you'll do. You'll just go to training, and you'll join the military, and that's it. I mean, you'll probably be a commander in it. You'll be pretty good at that, and you'll serve in the army. Okay, got it. And I was never on a military path, but it's the point of this guy's kind of on a path. So Jamie turns 19. He takes only a sword that his quartermaster gave him, and clothes on his back, and whatever supplies he can fit in the sack, and leaves. He just leaves the city of Sunfall. He doesn't bring any of his gold, even though there's plenty of gold his father could have given him. Even he wants to go out and he wants to do something that is completely separate from anything that goes on there. He wants to make his own name, and so he goes off to do that. And he's heard about the Rangers, and this is all explored more about the idea that there are these Rangers who sort of protected the country from like mythical beasts and dragons and things like that, but now they've sort of died out. They're not as prominent as they used to be, but there's tales of a few of them left, and so he goes to track down that myth of the last place that they have been seen, and his goal, and he has a plan, and that's one of the first things I say in the book is like, Jamie has a plan. He's going to step A, B, and it's like a bunch of lists. I'm like, simple, right? So that's his plan. He's going to become a ranger. Doesn't really know what he's going to do after that. I'm just going to be a ranger, sort of like me. I'm like, I guess I'll be a communication major. Don't really know what I'm going to do with that, or I guess I'll start a business. Let's see how that goes, and I'm going to be a ranger. And then doing so, he
has many adventures,
makes friends along the way, gets himself into some trouble here and there, and it's all going to come full circle, and he ends up back in Sunfall at certain points. But
is it one book or is it a several book series?
Several book. I see 3 books.
Okay.
I see Summerborn, The Last Ranger.
So have you outlined all 3?
I've outlined all 3.
Okay.
I've outlined all 3, but then like recently I finally like, okay, I need to like, and I did a lot of work. I did a lot of work of like erasing, so now I just have like different paragraphs all over the place, you know? But I'm like, okay, let's actually sit down and start from chapter 1. And I was able to write a pretty good bit. I'm pretty proud of myself, actually. And like, I wrote like stuff that I'm like, I'm going to keep that. That is solid material explaining the story. Okay, I'm keeping it. I've put it on there. Let's do this. And I'm going to write it. I'm going to do it. It feels so weird to say out loud. Like, I'm going to write a book. And it's like, okay. But like, I'm going to write a book.
You've been working on this for a while, though.
I've had this idea for a while.
Yeah.
Since January, I've wanted to do this, and then...
So, Scrivener, I've shown it to you, right? Do you know what Scrivener is?
No.
Okay, Scrivener is a program that's designed for writers. So, what program are you writing in?
Just like Word document,
okay.
Yeah.
So, Scrivener allows you to set up a document, or a folder is actually what they call it, and you can have a chapter 1, a chapter 2, a chapter 3, a chapter 4, just area. So it's all under one thing, and you just click back and forth. So what you just described to me is like you kind of have these sections that you have been writing, but they're probably just all over your computer, saved as separate documents.
Well, how I have it set up is like I have like I have the document where I'm writing, and then if you scroll down a few pages, that's where everything else is, and I'll put it there somewhere. That's how I write essays, funnily enough.
Well, I'm just saying, I've always worked in Word myself, but when I got Scrivener this summer, there are all these little specials. I think I got it for $45 or something. But it's really cool because it really allows you to jump back and forth between all these different things without having to open and close or scroll for 10 pages or whatever. It's just really laid out like you're writing, you know. Do you see your book with chapter names, or is it just like chapter 1, chapter 2?
I haven't given them any chapter names yet.
But you could still have like your each section. Here's chapter 1, whatever.
Yeah.
And any thought you have, you just throw it in that, and it's always all right there, organized like a writer needs it to be, not just randomly wherever you saved it in a document and wish you could go back and find it easily. It's really a very, very cool program, and it does a lot. It's got a lot of functionality that I've never observed or never used, but there are all these tutorials online. It's just something to look at, because if you are if you're going to pursue finishing this, then like every time an idea pops into your head, you have a very outlined, easy to like, ooh, this could be in the last chapter of the second book.
I have notes on my phone full of stuff like that.
Right, so to be able to put it all in one spot that's easy to access.
That's great. Thank you for telling me. By the way, not paid promotion by Scrivener, unless you want to pay us.
Always.
Emails in the description, please. I'll link the PayPal there too. You can just go ahead and send it.
Sponsor us, please.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'll just tell you in advance. You're welcome for all the business we're going to bring you.
Right.
So we're getting towards the end of the podcast here, and I've really enjoyed this talk. I think we got everything I wanted out of it. I really wanted to talk to you about the rehearsal process and all that stuff you're going through. And
I'm interested in what you remember about your rehearsal process when you were in the class. What do you remember?
What I remember is I always enjoyed it. I was always at even rehearsals where I wasn't part of the cast, I would try to come to if I could. Usually I'd work on those days though, because I'd arrange around it. I was the guy who found a way to be at the rehearsal I needed to be at. I maybe missed a couple through all the plays we did, but I always wanted to be there. I always made sure I was off of work and I wasn't doing anything else, and I was going to be at rehearsal. And some of the best memories I've ever had were made at rehearsals. One time there was this scene where someone shouts, "I'll transform into a black dragon," and she like kind of spreads her legs and like does like this like
crouch,
a crouch stance. And so I was like, that's funny. And I'm in like my school khakis that are kind of tight, and I was like, I did it, and I could just hear the biggest rip I've ever heard. And like, it wasn't just like a little rip; like it was like
the whole front to back.
It was
crotch.
like it was from like my crotch all the way down my thigh. Like it was like from my belt to my like knee, just this giant gash on the inside of my thigh, and I was like,
"Oops!
Oh my gosh!" And so like I'm standing there like that, and two of my best friends are around me, and they see it, and I'm like, okay, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna keep standing like this. Andre, you go get my sweater that's over there, my sweatshirt, and I'll tie it around like it's like but like how people tie it around their waist, but it's on the front.
Like an apron.
Like an apron, yeah. I was like wearing an apron for the rest of rehearsal. Thankfully, I don't think I had to get back up on stage. But I had a lot of fun. I remember, I feel like during our rehearsals, most people were there. I remember most people being there all the time for the rehearsals, and it felt very, it felt a lot more organized because we didn't have like two separate casts at one rehearsal. It was like, this is your cast, and I don't think we ever once ran through a full play.
We didn't.
Not either of the plays we did. Never once ran through a full play during rehearsal. It was really kind of all over the place, but I always really enjoyed it, and maybe I didn't have my eyes open to any issues. Like I wasn't really paying attention to anything that might have been a problem. I was like, this is so fun. I'm gonna go up and it was actually a productive time. I had a lot of fun hanging out with my friends backstage and joking around in the gym. And it's like, it's 6:00 and it's dark outside. I'm at the high school, and it's like, wow, this is what like kids must feel like whenever they do things. This is so cool. I'm doing something with my life. Yeah. This is so fun. Oh my God. And like so much like love was like in the building all the time, and that was a lot of fun. There was not a lot of tension in our class between us. I mean, there were some that I know about now that I'm not going to say names, but there was some drama, but there was no tension. You know, there's a difference between drama and tension. And
you're right.
I always enjoyed it, and I always thought you did a great job.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Directing it, I always felt like it was useful to go up on stage and perform.
Get my feedback.
And get your feedback. We've told that story of the check mark.
Yes, I was about to say. Except when I didn't get feed mark.
Yeah,
feed mark, but I didn't get feedback.
I got feed mark.
You did. Gave me a mark. You got the feed mark.
Yeah, it was always very useful. My favorite thing ever, I remember, is the first day of rehearsal. I was being Hansel and Grimm Brothers. First ever rehearsal, and me and Tara, who played Gretel, and we were really close, and we've been rehearsing together all the time. We had a couple classes together. Instead of doing math homework, we were reading lines, okay? And we were so excited to get up on stage and do it. We practiced so much, we're so ready to show you. And it gets to that part, so we walk up on stage, and I remember I walked up on stage, and while I'm still walking, you say, "Oh, actually, no, we need to go to the next scene because it needs more work. I'm sorry, guys." And I don't stop walking and just turn around. I'm like, I'm finally on stage. Okay, turn around and go sit back down because I'm just too good for rehearsal. Apparently, I get marks and I get told I don't need it. That someone else needs to go up there. Okay, then. Fine, Donna. Yeah. If you want. That was just funny.
That is funny.
I remember never having any problems with rehearsal. I always enjoyed it.
Well, I'm glad.
It was some of the best moments. Also, though, we never really got stuck in your room, so that was always nice. We were always able to at least get on stage, which was just the best feeling. Like, I'm on stage.
Right.
I'm on a stage. That's so cool.
It's very cool.
Very cool. Thank you, Donna. Very cool.
You're welcome. And it's cool for everybody involved. It's just the kind of experience that bonds people in a way that nothing else does.
Yeah, like specifically like, oh my God, I'm so tired. I really want Raising Cane's, and we're stuck in this gym, and it's cold outside, but it feels kind of nice. And wow, it's dark outside, and it's 5:30. What the heck? Why is it dark? Oh yeah, daylight savings. Oh, there's shouting going on, and I'm just here making laughs. Yeah. We had to find ways to entertain ourselves, you know? Like, we weren't watching Netflix, so, like, it was like... And especially towards the end of, like, rehearsals, when it was like, I freaking know my lines, man. I don't want to read it again. I remember, but when I gave an interview for Grimm Brothers, one of the things I said was, man, rehearsal's been dead because we've rehearsed so much that we knew all the lines, so it wasn't even funny anymore because we knew all the lines. And the title of the article was like, David Peoples describes rehearsal as dead. It's like, Jesus, man, that's not what I meant.
Thanks
but
so much.
Thanks, David Gray. Like, oh my God, it sounded so dark. But when you read it, you got the context. But that's so funny to me.
That is
that it's
funny.
like the title. Like, David Peoples describes it as dead. Jesus, man, it's not what I meant. But okay then.
I love it.
Good
All right.
times.
So now it really is time to
Now
wrap
I'm
up.
nostalgic and sad.
Not sad.
Not sad.
'Cause
Nostalgia.
You're still involved. We'll have to just write another play.
I'm gonna be like a 30-year-old, like, hey everybody, it's me, David. Well, what's going on? You're gonna be retired at that point anyway. I'm like, hey guys, and the teacher's gonna be like, who the hell are you? I'm like, well, I was 10 years ago. I played Huntrell. You want to see? This is me being really fat and like with a big beard. I'm still wearing that shirt that says I've lost all respect for myself.
Right.
But it's too small for me now. And like I'm wearing khaki pants, like school pants, and I'm like.
That's the reliving the glory days thing you were talking about.
Yeah,
That's peaked in high school.
You
want
to see my Hansel? I can give you some pointers. I try to not do that whenever I'm in rehearsal now because I want to, I like going, I like watching, but I don't want to wave, be like, hey everybody, remember me? Can I do I did a during rehearsal we need someone to read, so I read for that, but I try to take a step back than what I've done before and let them make all the same experiences without me being like, hey everyone, and like slapping them in the face with, did you know I wasn't there? Because at this point there's a lot of students in there who are like, who are you?
Yes.
Please go away.
Exactly.
Last year it wasn't as bad because they mostly remembered me. But now it's mostly people who are like, who is this guy? Yeah.
Right.
I remember I walked in and someone says, who's that guy? I was like, shut up, kid.
Well, and some of the kids that are at rehearsal are my Theater 1 kids who are going to either be extras or possible, they are understudies, so they could actually fill in at the last minute. And my Theater 1 kids know of you because I've talked about our podcast and our business together. So I'm like, well, that's my business partner. And then they're like,
that's right.
Little claim to fame going
on. You better show some respect, son.
Oh, I love it.
Any final thoughts on it? It's been a great show.
Final thoughts. I don't know. I guess by the time this airs, the play will be over, and so then you'll have to listen to the next one to see how the plays came off in front of our audience. So I'm looking forward to that podcast next week.
Yes.
And you?
I'm sure it went well. So if you're listening right, I'm going to tell you, the audience loved it. It went amazing. We had a great time. Oh, remember that time? And that was great, wasn't it?
Such a good laugh. Yeah.
So there you go. Now you don't have to listen to our podcast anymore. Please,
never say that.
Please
continue listening.
Please continue listening. Please. Thank you guys. Speaking of listening, thank you guys so much for listening to Creative Conversations with David and Donna. This has been David.
And Donna.
Stay creative.